But were there signs that you were at any point being investigated, or does it like your
hell yeah,
your spider senses tingling?
No, they pick Emory up first. They pick Emory up first, and then I get a call like, yo, son, they picked up Emory. Like, huh? And he was like, yeah. I was like, damn, that's some bad news. No, the bad news is they said they looking for you too. I was like, huh? They said, yeah, the bad news is they looking for you too. I said, nah, y'all bullshit. I ain't been down there at least 3-4 years. This is what I kept saying. Like, nah, I've been gone.
Denial. Right?
You know what I'm saying? So, this is not it. Yeah. Well, next you know, I had a traffic ticket I had to go to court for. Like, feds is smooth with it, bro. There's no, man, they could never get me to play with them again.
So they ain't come knocking on your door at like 5 a.m. with your boxers on?
They played me. They ain't play me. They knew I had a court date coming up in Raleigh, North Carolina. They knew that, right? And let me tell you how that shit helps you out. I went to that court date, and when I got on the elevator, and two guys got on there, yo, bro, the spidey senses you talk about, I was like, shit, these niggas don't even smell right. But hey, I'm jolly though with it. And when we got off the same floor, okay, cool. And then we got in the courtroom, they went to the back, and I sat down. I was just like, okay, I wonder who those guys was. And next you know, nothing is a coincidence. Next you know, the court start. My name is the first name. Like, huh? They was like, yo, as soon as I walked to the bench, they was like, come here for a minute, let me see your ID. Show him my ID. I'm just like, Dehaven, we need to talk. Let's go over here and talk for a minute. I'm just like, yo, we U.S. federal marshals, we come to pick you up. And I'm like, what? I said, say that again. He said, U.S. federal marshals, man. I said, the feds? Federal? He was like, yeah. I said, why? He was like, man, I'm just supposed to pick you up and take you back to Baltimore. Baltimore, Maryland. You know, shit in your head. You like, man, hold on. I ain't been there in a minute. So, what could be going on? And like I said, they came. When you asked me, how did I hear about it? They came through that. When they said they picked up Emory, next I came and picked me up. And, you start the whole federal process.
What is that like? What is the federal process? Are they taking you into a room and give us some names to hate? Or are they doing that type of thing? What's going on?
That's what's ironic about it. They ain't asked me for no names. They thought they had who they supposed to. They ain't asked me for no names. And if they know you and they know how you are, which they know your profile, they ain't even gonna ask you that. They know. Nah, he the type that's going to take it to the end. He's going to do, we're going to give him life. We're going to set an example for him. You know what I mean? So I didn't get no offer, no deal, or nothing. I had nobody to tell on because I have not been doing anything.
Yes,
and it's the process of it is mean, man. It's expensive. It's mean. That's where shit set in, the process on the legal side and the process on the family side. All of that starts to kick in. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? You got scams on the lawyer tip. You know what I'm saying? You got you're just trying to get out.
What are scams on the lawyer tip? Because
man, I spent. Oh man, it was some lawyer assistance, right? Where if you hire a lawyer, they be on top of your lawyer. It's called NLPA, National Public Lawyer something, NLPA. And that was my first line of defense. Somebody told me about them. Yo, if your lawyer's slacking, you can play them and this and that and the third. Man, I paid them about $4,000 or $5,000 off the gate just to, make sure my lawyer doing the right thing. Come to find out, my indictment was sealed And when your indictment is sealed, they not showing nothing to nobody. To the lawyer, he can't start without seeing your indictment. You feel what I'm saying? He can't start nothing. Yo, the whole time, and then they just took my money. There was nothing they could do with my lawyer anyway. But those are the scams. And then you got, like I said, you're trying to get out of there. You're looking for help. You're looking for family. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see who's going to be by your side. It's a terrible, all that transition right there. Those are the consequences.
So one thing that I always kind of think is like, you got to find the right lawyer. How do you make sure because there's lawyers out there that will sell you, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Nah,
in
not
this
with
case,
the feds. I'm glad I learned a lot. You learn a lot knowing about reading about cases and through a lot of good people. When I first caught the case, I was actually, when I was sitting in the jail, one of my homeboys was like, I know a good lawyer, federal lawyer, right? And he said, he gave me his number. And I went to him and stuff, and the lawyer was like, yo, if I take your case, I'm gonna need about $70,000 out the gate. $70,000. And I was saying, like, man, that ain't really no money. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm gonna make a few calls. That ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no money. Little did I know, I couldn't make a few calls because them calls ain't came through. Plain and simple. That's the whole other story. So when he told me that, man, I had to start looking at the thing myself. I had to fight for it myself. And then when he told me this, and I started going, hold on, wait up. I'm gonna have to go get a legal beagle. All right, I'm gonna get a legal attorney, right? Said, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do no legal beagle shit. I'm going to holler at my man. I'm going to holler at my little brother Jay, right? I'm gonna run him down and tell him what the situation is. So, I run Jay down and I say, Jay, listen, this case right here ain't it. I can get around this. This is nothing. All I need is your help, you know what I'm saying? And he says, look me in my eyes and says, you know what? Yo, don't even worry about it. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. And I never seen him again. And I end up with a legal court-appointed attorney, but I did most of the work myself.
Why do you think you never got back? He never got back to you. Like, what happened? Like,
yo, that's a story. That's a story that shit. I don't know. That's every question or every interview. Like, that's the stuff that leads to you can't answer certain things. You wouldn't make sense. We got an interview today, right? Everything we plan, we schedule, we everything. I was on time, this, that, and the third, right? If I didn't show up, would you be disappointed?
Yes, I'd be very disappointed.
All right, then. So, that's the magnitude of like, and then when you see me face to face, what you gonna say?
What happened?
There it is. There it is. So I never even got a chance to be in his face again and go, yo, what happened?
Did you ever run through scenarios of what may have been the case? Because
listen,
you're not,
bro. Listen, what could your brother tell you? What scenario could your brother tell you?
I would assume that person's not my brother no more, and then I would try to modify the situation. Okay, so he's not my brother. What caused him to not think that he's my brother and whatnot?
He didn't show up for you, right? And not only this, he looked you in your eyes and said, "Yo, I got you. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But from a different perspective, to give me a peace of mind, it was so good that he didn't show up. Because then I had a chance to read my case on my own. That was a good thing. Because once I read my case on my own and realized, oh, nah, I can get out of this. You know what I'm saying? Opposed from him giving me a lawyers and let them do all the work and come back to me and say, yo, guess what? We got you down. We got you down about 10. Would you take 10? And let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you, that's how scared I was. Listen to me. I looked at the discovery of the case and knew I could beat it. Right? This is when I know they ain't offering me nothing. I'm fighting for my life. But I looked at this, right? But I know if they would have offered me 10, I would have took it. So that's how terrifying I really was.
So I guess what you kind of hinting at is like if you get the high stakes federal lawyer, they
would have looked at it. If Jay would have been like, yo, come in with the OJ team,
it's Pablo
the
Escobar.
jury would have been like, hey, hold up. Nah, they don't play that shit. Yeah. The state's attorney would have been like, yo, y'all see this? You see the team he got? They know what lawyers cost. They would have wanted to know where the money come from for this shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's a gift and a curse. And like I said, I have to look at it from a different perspective so I can have peace. Like, yo, you know what? I'm glad he didn't show up because I wouldn't have gave that paperwork a good eye.
Still, man, going to war with the federal government and you have a legal defender, what they like to call legal pretender sometimes. How do you even kind of map that out? Are you telling that person, yo, I was 3 years removed from the game. This is really what's going on. I saw the discovery. I was only on the phone for 15 minutes. This has nothing to do. Like, how does that even work?
I told my lawyer, after he told me and said, Mr. Irby, I'm asking you, if I can get you at least 20 years, would you be considerate? And I told him, let me say, yo, I'm 30, whatever. I said, 20 years is life right now. You understand? And what I just seen and read, and you asked me that, I really don't want you to do anything else but do everything I tell you. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have nothing but 6 people telling on me. That's it. All we got to do is break their credibility. You know what I'm saying? That's it. They don't got no wiretaps. They don't got none of this. And you asked me to do what? I said, nah, I'm not doing that. We gonna fight all the way. And I'll do the questioning. I'll tell you. And, I was fortunate that I had 2 more co-defendants that was on trial with me, and they had lawyers. So all our lawyers sitting there. And some of their lawyers was hot. Some of their lawyers was really good lawyers, and I was feeding off of them. You know what I'm saying? So it all helped my case. You know what I mean? But end of the day, I did it on my own. And the lawyers, like I said, if Jay would have had to pay for it, maybe it would have went wrong.
Because I think what's funny is that maybe the case study would be Emory, right? I assume he had the high stakes lawyers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he actually gets time. Because he pleads out.
That don't mean, the thing with the feds is, and this is what the high stake lawyers don't, that's for if you know you beat the case. If you know you ain't did it, that's what a high stake lawyer for, because you know you ain't beat it. You know what I mean?
So you mean if you know you did it, you get the high stakes lawyer too, right? Is
that
what you mean?
If that lawyer can promise you that he can get you to this, it's all about what lawyers and, the judges, they all together, bro. It's a game.
They friends.
It's really a game. But on a federal level, it's about your guidelines. Yo, you come in here, this your first time, this, that, and the third. You got caught with, 50 keys. Yo, it might not be so bad on you. You understand? But you come in here, you get caught with 50 keys, and you've been teenage, you got gun charges, robbery charges, this, that, and the third. They're going to go to the timetable chart. They're going to line up where your guidelines with the years. It's already wrote. It's just, it's like a timetable chart. And you're going to see where you got, they're going to say, oh, yeah, he guides in at 200 months, 240 months, and stuff like that. Yeah, his guidelines are 30 years. His guidelines are life, whatever.